Thank you for joining me for practice today. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And in the description is a link to my Patreon account. If you'd like to offer a donation, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. So moving flesh from the sit bones, sit tall, close the eyes. And take a moment to go inward. Feel the physical body as it anchors into the earth, and that lift through the crown of the head, creating space in the vertebrae. And keep the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Sternum is lifted. And the side bodies are long. And for a few moments, just watch the rise and fall of the abdomen. Belly swells as the inhale comes in, and navel contracts to spine as the breath goes out. And just start to establish a rhythm to the breath, that the inhale and the exhale become the same length. And sometimes we can hear the ticking of a clock, or if you've ever sat and done some pranayama or breathing to a metronome, there's something very soothing about a consistent beat. So let the pulsation of the breath be consistent. And if you haven't already, add a little ujjayi sound or ocean wave type sound to your breath, so that as you're creating this consistency, the mind can hear that soft whisper, soothing the nervous system. Make sure there's no rush, either with the inhalation or exhalation or the spaces between the two. But feel that this is a very organic flow. And when we create this consistency in the breath, it creates a stability for the mind. When the mind is stable, then we are more easily able to hear or understand or interpret the messages we get from within. We could call it our intuition or our knowing, even our higher mind, our soul's call. And it's not something that we hear like a voice, but something that we can feel almost from every single cell in the body. And many times I think in our life we're asked to not listen to that, to listen to the intellect, to listen to the logical progression that may have to do with something we've experienced in a past. Sometimes the messages from the heart don't follow that pattern. So as you create that consistency in the breath, bringing stability to the mind, let your mind settle itself in the seat of the heart. Imagine that it can take rest there. And then you can grow the breath up into the heart by expanding the belly and then the rib cage, and then really feel the breath move into the upper lungs, widening the area around the heart and even expanding the collarbones. Then as you exhale, contract the abdomen back to the spine, feel the rib cage draw closer together, let the chest soften, let the collarbones release. So a few more rounds here, expanding belly, ribs, heart or chest, and then exhaling belly, ribs, heart or chest. And just a few more rounds here, please. Noticing the quiet that comes into the mind as the focus is there. It's not too much of a focus, but it's not too little. It's just that perfect amount. Giving the mind rest in the heart. And then lower your chin to your chest. And bring your hands to the heart space with the thumbs touching the sternum. We'll set the intention for the practice today to be a very intuitive practice. So we're going to use that inner guide, really listening to the calls of the body, and following that, honoring it, trusting it. So if at any time the body asks for a rest, we will give it a rest. Maybe child's pose or just simply lying on our back. But think in your own life of an area where perhaps you overthink. Perhaps the intuition takes a back seat. And can we find ways to bring that forward and how it might serve us? So take a moment for that, please. And then feel it here from the heart, and this is where we'll begin our chant of Om 3 times, sending the vibration Ah, O, up the spine. And as it passes the heart center, we're in the O part of the chant. And you can really feel how the sound vibration comes into focus as we make that O shape with the lips. And so once we get our intentions into the heart, we're really starting to form that firm focus for what it is that we seek to do and aligning it with that energy there. So take a deep inhale in and a long exhale out. And another deep inhale in. Just lower your chin to your chest. Release your hands to your knees. And just gradually open your eyes, bringing yourself back into the room. And if your sit bones are propped, it might be easier to slide off of that prop and just have the sit bones flat on the earth or a very thin blanket. Hands onto the knees. We're going to do some circling of the spine. So go to the right first and over to the left and hold onto the knees as you concave the spine and then come forward again. And if you'd like, you can keep your eyes closed for a few moments. Now we're just creating this little bit of circling in the body, just feeling where there might be some tension, other areas that feel very loose and open. Just taking note of all of that. Notice the hips, freeing up any tension that's there in the hips by the repetitive motion. And then we'll go in the other direction. So now switch sides. And you might find it's a little different. It's always interesting just to see where these cross patterns are in the body. A couple more breaths here, still staying consistent in the breathing. Doesn't have to match the rhythm of the circle, but it can if you wish it to. And then slowly come back to center and just sit for a moment and feel all of that. Really take a moment to experience it. Now we're going to do some undulations of the spine. So dip the heart forward, let the elbows point up. And now hold on to the knees, concave the spine, pull the tailbone in, chin towards the chest, push into the back of the heart. And then do it again. Inhale. Dip that heart forward, elbows are pointing up, stretching into the tops of the shoulders and chest. And then exhale, concave the spine, pull back, feel that space open up in the back of the heart, and then just keep going. Inhaling and exhaling again at your own pace, and you can completely link that to the breath if that serves you, or it feels a little more supportive just to go at your own pace, you can. Maybe you need a couple breaths to get down, a couple breaths to go back. Remember, you want to make sure that as you dip the heart forward, that's ending on an inhale. The back's in the back bend there. And then as you exhale, you want to pull that navel towards the back body. But if you have to take one in between, that's perfectly fine. One more here. Inhaling forward and back. And then sit tall again and just experience that. If you'd like to turn palms up and just feel some of the warmth in the spine. Or moving some prana around, maybe some that was stuck is getting released. Good. Now inhale, both arms reach up. And exhale, just float in between the legs here. Soften the head and neck. Palms reach into the earth. And then ground the sit bones back. Head and neck stays soft. Breathe deeply here. And now really send your breath into the back body. So kidneys, back of the ribs, shoulder blades. As you exhale, of course, really pull the belly button back to the spine. And then check in with the mind. Did the mind sneak back up into the head, or can you settle it in the heart? One more full breath here. Really let go. And then walk to the right, but stay low in the chest. So keep that forward bend in the spine, and then extend the arms, sternum over that right knee. Anchor your left hip down deeply into the earth. And again here too, can you feel some resistance in the body? Is there some natural space? Head and neck stay soft. And then come back to through center and over to the left. Right hip is down, hands are grounded, head and neck is soft. And as you feel some of those new areas in the body opening up again, breathe into them. As the inhale gets in there, it kind of intensifies it for a moment, but then the exhale helps to release it. And then come back to center. And we're going to bring our hands in alignment with the ears, or arms in alignment with the ears rather, and come all the way back up into a seated position. Circle the hands back behind you. Point your fingertips towards your hips and then push down into the palms and lift the sternum through the shoulders. So you're stretching into the chest and tops of the shoulders, feeling that sweet release. And then if you want to engage the back body here, press down into the knees, take the tailbone up, and lift the hips off the earth. And just feel that whole front line opening. And we get really tight here in the front of the chest. A lot of repetitive motions. So one more full breath there. Can you get the inhale in there? And then lower the hips back down, roll off the fingertips, and once again, feel. Just take it in. No rushing, nowhere to get to. Very nice. And then we'll come into tabletop position here. Spine's nice and warm, so hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet press firmly into the earth. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the sit bones, look up. Exhale, tuck your toes and find downward facing dog. Hips come up and back. We're only going to take one full breath here, so inhale, exhale. Just kind of notice where the body's at right now. And then on your inhale, bring your knees to the floor. Heart lift, sit bones lift. And exhale, we'll round the back, navel in, sit bones to heels, child's pose. Good. Inhale, come back up. Heart lift, sit bones lift. Exhale, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog as the hips come up and back. And we're going to take 2 breaths here. And you might even see just in that repetition of 1 that we have a little bit of a difference in sensation in the body. Find your consistent breath. Navel hugs the back body on exhalation. And then inhale, bring your knees to the floor, heart lift, sit bones lift. And again, we're rounding the back, sit bones to heels, child's pose. Inhale, heart lift, sit bones lift, tabletop. Exhale, down dog, 3 breaths. Now that you're here for 3 breaths, if you want to pedal the feet a little bit, you can take that time to push one heel down and then the other. Just moving back and forth through the legs a little bit. And eventually find the feet hip distance apart. And then again, we'll inhale, bring the knees to the floor. Heart lift, sit bones lift. Exhale, really pull that belly button in and up as you draw back to child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Heart lift, sit bones lift. Exhale, tuck the toes, down dog. I'm going to take 4 breaths here and we'll work those alignment principles. So feet about hip distance apart, toes turned in slightly, heels out. Roll the inner thighs in and back and allow the sit bones to spread. So keep feeling like your hips and legs are moving behind you, elongating your spine, and then let your head and neck really hang here. So traditionally the gaze is up at the navel. If that's too uncomfortable for the neck, you can gaze between the ankles. But press down through the hands and really hug the upper arms towards the center to widen the upper back. Take one more full breath here. Really make sure that you're hugging that navel towards the spine on exhalation in each and every pose. So we're kind of engaging a little bit of Mula and Uddiyana Bandha to support the posture. And then inhale, bring the knees to the floor, heart lift, sit bones lift. And exhale, navel to spine, sit bones to heels, child's pose. Good. This time just sit back on your heels, so hands under the shoulders, roll the spine up. And just take a moment to rotate the wrists. So sometimes when we're on those wrists for a long time, they get sore. You can maybe do some circles. Point the fingertips toward the knees, place the palms flat, and then once they're flat, lean your hips back towards your heels again, and just go to your level of where you're feeling a little bit of a stretch. You don't want to push over into pain, so it's just that intense sensation, but allowing you still to have a full, complete breath. And again, listen for the intuition here. It'll guide you as to how far you can go back. One more breath. Sit back on your heels, roll your wrists again. And we'll do one more wrist stretch here. So fingertips point in towards one another, backs of the hands into the mat. Palms face up, and now you're going to lean into your hands. And then you can feel that stretch intensify as you make a fist and then release it. Again, squeeze, make a fist and release it. Do that a few more times. Just letting go of some tension, especially in that Forearm area gets really tight. And then release. And this time we're going to roll the shoulders back, just loosening up the shoulder area, and roll the shoulders forward, opening up that upper back. Go back one more time with the shoulders. We want to end with that heart nice and open. And then we'll slide back into tabletop position. Heart lifts, sit bones lift. Exhale, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. And just take a minute to notice just the difference that those few repetitions gave the body so much more space, so much more room by just honoring it, not really pushing it. And then rise onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees, look at your hands, step forward to your fingertips, and open the feet hip distance apart. And come into standing forward fold. So hands on the shins. As you inhale, push into the shins and let the heart come forward. Draw the tips of the shoulder blades down your back. Let your back be nice and flat. And then exhale, navel to spine. And as you come down, slide your hands down to the tops of the feet. Good. Again, inhale now. Slide your hands up your shins and really push your heart away, crown of the head away from the tailbone. And then exhale and slide back down. Inhale, rise up. Extending, creating space, some strength there for the back body. Exhale, slide down, hands to the tops of the feet. 2 more, please, with your breath. Inhale away. Exhale down. Inhale away. Exhale down. Inhale, arms reach out wide. Come all the way up to standing. Really lift and lengthen. Slight back bend here. Press the front of the thighs forward. And then exhale and slowly bring your arms down by your side. And just take a moment to feel Samastiti. Stand, experience all the energy now flowing through the body. And once again, check in with the head. Or the mind, did it float back into the head, or can you settle it right there in the heart? Feeling from the heart space. Okay, Sun Salutation C. We're going to do half Sun Salutation C and have the big toes touching, space between the heels, or if you need to, feet hip distance apart. Hands into prayer at the heart center. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold, navel to spine. Step the right leg back, lower the knee down, top of the foot, and inhale, the arms reach up for low lunge, opening up that heart and front body. Exhale, you're just going to step forward, standing forward fold. Melt over the legs. Inhale, the arms out wide as you lift and rise all the way up. And exhale, arms by your side or to your heart. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold, navel to spine. This time the left leg goes back. Lower the knee, top of the foot. Inhale up for low lunge. And exhale, step the back foot forward. Standing forward fold, melt over the legs. Inhale, the arms reach out wide as you lift and rise. Again, slight back bend here. And exhale, arms by your side or hands to your heart. So that's one complete round. Inhale again. Arms reach up. Exhale, fold. So we start on that right leg. Right leg goes back, lower knee, top of the foot. Inhale up for low lunge. And exhale, step forward, standing forward fold, melt over the legs. Inhale the arms out wide as you lift and rise. And exhale, hands to heart. Left side, inhale. Exhale, fold. Left leg back, low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, melt. Inhale, rise. And exhale, heart. So really feeling from that heart space, from that intuition, inhale, reach. Where does the body want you to stretch into? Exhale, fold. Take the right leg back. Inhale. Where are you going to get that best experience of the low lunge? What do you need to do in your body? Exhale, come forward, fold. Can you let go and melt? Inhale, reach up. Open up the heart. Where is there resistance? Exhale to the heart. Left side, inhale. Exhale, fold. Left leg back. Notice this side versus the other. What do you need to do to make that the best expression of lunge? And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart. We're going to do one more together and then one more on your own. It's pretty simple. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Starting on the right side, it's low lunge. Inhale. Breath moves you. Exhale, fold and melt. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Left leg back. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. And exhale, heart. We're just going to do one more on the right, one more on the left. That'll complete the full round. And now really let your breath move you. So again, we're not rushing through inhale or exhale or those transitions between, but really feeling that organic flow where our body wants to take us. Mind seated in the heart. Left side. And when you finish, there's no rush. Just take your time. Either keep your hands at your heart or down by your side. And once again, rest in samastiti. Standing mountain pose, feeling not only the warmth of prana moving through the body, but the stability, the calm for the mind. Good. Back at the front of your mat. Hands together in front of your heart and big toes touching, space between the heels. Inhale, the arms reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose. Hands on the shins, flatten the back. And then exhale, step or lightly hop back to plank position. So for this first vinyasa, we're going to bring knees to floor. Squeeze the elbows tight into the side as the belly comes down. Tops of the feet ground. Inhale, elbows and shoulders pull back. Cobra, pubic bone stays grounded, and exhale, navel up and back, downward facing dog. So from here, lunge your right foot forward to your fingertips, spin the back foot flat, heel to heel alignment. Now your back toes are pointing towards the upper left corner of your mat, hips are squared. Inhale, bend the front knee, arms reach as you come all the way up for warrior one. Now we're just going to bring the arms back down and palms to touch in front of us. So arms nice and straight. On the inhale, straighten your front leg and widen your arms and see how much space you can create across the chest. Now exhale, come back into warrior one position, bending the front knee and bringing the hands to close like closing a book. Again, inhale, open up, expand through the chest, reach through the fingertips. And then exhale, bend the knee, come back, close the book. Good, keep going. Inhale, straighten the leg, open the heart. Create as much room as possible. Exhale, hug the navel to the spine as you move back into the warrior position. Two more here, please. Gaze is steady, right at the horizon. Good. Now on this last one, keep your hands together. Reach the arms forward and up, front knees bent, and just come into warrior one. And arms stay forward in front of the shoulders. Gaze up at the hands. Press the ball of the front foot away from the back heel. And now really work that right hip back, left hip around. Absorb the tailbone into the body, lift the lower belly. Really stabilize the core here, and then keep opening the heart to the best of your ability while maintaining that stability. Mind settled in the heart, breathe deeply. Building some warmth, some strength here. 2 more. Now inhale, open just a little higher, and exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Take a moment in down dog, let everything settle. Notice the difference between right and left sides. Inhale to plank position. Again, if you want, you can bring the knees down or leave them lifted for chaturanga. If the knees are lifted, now you're going to roll into upward facing dog. Knees are off the floor. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Okay, left leg steps forward to the fingertips. Spin the back foot flat, heel to heel alignment. Bend into that front knee. Hips are going to be squared as you come all the way up into warrior one. And then again here, we're going to bring just the arms down. Palms to touch, arms are straight. As you inhale, straighten the front leg. Extend the arms out wide. Really stretch through those fingertips. Get as much space across the heart as you can. And now exhale, bend into the front knee. Close the arms like closing a book. Repeat it. Inhale, engage the muscle in the bottom leg. So you're really hugging it to the bone. And then exhale as you go down into the posture. Don't let that knee go over the ankle. Good, keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Gaze is steady. Mind is steady. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Now, when the hands are together, you're going to keep them forward. Push forward and up as you move into the back bend. Push the ball of the front foot away from the back heel. So really stabilize the legs. Get strong and grounded through the legs. Palms hug that midline there. Gaze is up at the hands. Breathe deeply. Keep lifting the pelvic floor and lower belly for support of the spine. 2 more breaths. Settle the mind and the heart. Let that heat build. That's good. Now inhale a little deeper into the back bend. And then exhale. And move into downward facing dog. And just let it settle. Breathe here. And once again, Vinyasa. Come to plank position, chaturanga, your way. Cobra or up dog, knees down or lifted. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now we're going to step the left foot forward to the fingertips again. This time we're going to spin the foot flat and line the front heel with the arch of the back foot. So that opens up your hips. So as you come in through warrior one, open hip and shoulder to the right, straighten the front leg, prepare yourself for triangle. So you want to have about 3.5, 4 feet stance. It's a slightly longer triangle. Inhale, extend out through the arms. So really reach from the shoulders. And then exhale, lengthen over that front leg, but don't come down. So feel like someone's pulling your arm away from you. And then inhale, come back up. So you can see how the side body lengthens here as we exhale and we go down. Arm reaches forward, hips move back. Inhale, come up. Just one more like this, please. Exhale. Again, using that intuition, moving organically. Inhale, come up. And now this time we're going to go down to stay, but we still want to get that length through the torso first. And then when you don't go any further, then hand comes to shin, ankle, foot, floor. You can hook the index, middle thumb around the big toe. However you like to bind your triangle here. Right arm is straight, fingers are together. Now push that ball of the front foot away from the back heel. So as the legs stay stable, sternum will move forward. Hips will move back. And then each exhalation, pull the navel in and rotate it just a little deeper to the right. Gaze traditionally is up at the hand, but if it bothers your neck, keep the neck neutral. Breathe here. Listen to the intuition. Make sure the mind is seated in the heart. The body will tell you what it needs. 2 more. Keep extending crown from tailbone. And then reach this right arm over the head, extended triangle. So really feel, again, like someone's pulling those fingertips away, elongating the side body, and then we're just gonna float the torso over that leg, walk to the center line, turning those left toes in, and forward bend here in a wide Prasarita Padottanasana. Fingertips lined up with the toes, crown of the head towards the earth. Now the key to this posture is to lean forward into the balls of the feet. It almost feels like you could tip forward, but you're not going to tip forward. You're going to find that center right over the arch of the foot where we're nice and stable, hips are lifted. Torso really just hangs from the hips, so the upper body isn't doing much, but the fingertips are lined up with the toes and the shoulders are away from the ears. One more breath here. Navel really hugs the back body, emptying out the belly. See if you can get another inch. And now straighten your arms. Plant your left hand directly under your face. Bring your right hand to your sacrum. And then rotate your navel to the right, opening up the right shoulder. So you're doing the twist in the torso first. Then, if it's comfortable, take the arms straight up in the air. And if you're really flexible, try externally rotating your left thigh. That helps to stabilize the hips just a little bit more. Again, gaze is traditionally up at the hand. If that's too intense for your neck, keep it neutral. And breathe here. We're going to inhale, take the top arm over the head, reaching forward, and then exhale. Bend the elbow and twist just a little deeper. Inhale, arm goes over the head. Exhale, bend the elbow, twist just a little deeper. And inhale, last one, over the head. And exhale, twist a little deeper. And then forward, fold back through the legs. Find that center point again. Hands to the hips. Scoop the heart as you rise. And heel toe your feet back to center. Take a moment just to stand and feel. Mind settled in the heart. Last breath here. Good. Back to the front of your mats. Big toes touching, space between the heels, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose. Flat back. Exhale, stepper, lightly hop back to plank position. You can have your knees lowered or lifted, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. This time we're stepping right foot forward to the fingertips. Spin the back foot flat, and it's the heel to arch alignment again, so the hips are open. Come up through warrior one, open hip and shoulder to the left, and then straighten into that front leg. We'll do triangle on this side. Inhale here and extend through those fingers. So really feel the chest widen. And then exhale, like someone's pulling your arm. Send your hips back, reach over that front leg. Inhale, come up. And exhale, extend, create more length. Each time, that repetition, remember, will create room as the body becomes familiar. Exhale. Inhale, and this last one we're going to reach first, so you want to get as much space as possible, and then hand to shin, ankle, foot, floor, hook the index, middle thumb around the big toe, whatever you like to do for triangle. Fingertips are together. Traditionally, gaze is up at the hand, you can keep the head neutral. Good, keep pushing into the feet and legs. So as they anchor down, then the spine gets more spacious. And it's really the pelvic floor and navel drawing in and up, rotating to the left that creates that slight twist for the torso. Lean back with the chest. Breathe here. Any of that shaking or slight tremoring of the body, it's really this ability here for us to strengthen the nadi system, strengthen those energetic channels inside of us. So they may be a little awkward or uncomfortable, but just continue to breathe through them. Again, if the mind is seated in the heart, the body will know exactly what to do. Good, 2 more. Now this top arm is going to go over your head. Extend for that last final breath. Create as much room as you can. And then you're going to go over that leg, walk the hands on the floor to the center, turning your right toes in, and now you're melting right over the center again into that Prasarita Padottanasana, foot spreading posture. So the biggest thing we see with this one is people sinking in the heels. You got to come forward in the balls of the feet. It does feel like you might tip over, but it's actually what's going to allow the torso to release and even potentially at some point, crown of the head to reach the earth. Good. Now, if you're comfortable here, you got that crown down, then you're welcome to release the hands to the hips and just push the hips away, getting a little extra space in the torso. It's almost like you're giving yourself traction here. And now this time we're going to keep our hands on our hips, anchor into the feet, and slowly come back up into standing. And then heel toe your feet in so your stance is not too wide. You want to have about 3 feet between the ankles. We're going to go back into the twist, but we're going to do it a little more deeply this time. So inhale, the arms reach long again. Exhale, take the left hand to the right foot or ankle, pointing the toes towards the heel. Rotate belly, then chest, then head and neck. Inhale, come back up into standing, extend the arms long again. Again, left hand to right ankle or foot, point the fingertips towards the toes or heel if you can. Rotate belly, chest, head and neck. And then inhale, come back up. Good, we're gonna do that 3 more times. Exhale. Now, as you use your breath, your body uses that intuition, squeezing and wringing out, creates just a little more space. And then inhale, as we fill with breath, we get lighter and we come back up. Keep going. If we follow the organic pattern of breath, then we really empty out to our completion on the exhalation. And we fill to our completion on the inhalation. Good, we're going to go to the other side. Right hand to the left ankle this time. Point those fingertips towards the heel. Belly, ribs, chest opens up. And inhale, come back up. Of course, you can always bend your knee if you need to bring the floor to you. Again, right hand to left ankle. Rotate. Inhale. So when we're doing this dynamic movement, we want to go to the same side. That way we're incrementally opening up the spine in a similar direction, not too confusing for the body. Last 2 here, please. Final one. And this time we're going to go back to that first side. So we'll take the left hand to the right foot, ankle, point the fingertips towards the heel, rotate belly, ribs, chest, head and neck, and now stay. Again, fingertips are together. Gaze is traditionally up at the hand. If it bothers your neck, look neutral, or you can even look down at the floor here. Now with the hand in this position, you're closer to that right thigh. So push your chest towards your thigh. Again, if you can externally rotate the left leg, that's going to create a little more stability in the hips. Mind seated in the heart. Navel hugs in and up. That emptying or removing the belly out of the way is going to help deepen the twist. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, just bring your hands to your hips for a moment and rest. It's a lot of intensity there. Let it settle. Settle the mind. Make sure you get a full inhale, full exhale. And then we'll inhale the arms long again, and we'll just go to the other side. So right hand now to your left. Rotate, belly, chest, head and neck. And we're going to just stay in the twist. Externally rotate that right thigh. Keep pushing your chest towards your left leg. Deepening the twist here, navel hugs in and up. Lean back with the chest. Breathe. One more. Good. Inhale, come back up, and exhale. Again, rest hands to hips. Take a moment. Settle the shoulders, any trying from the upper body that we like to do. Bring it back down. And then this time, turn your toes out, heels in. We're going to keep the stance fairly wide here, moving into more like a sumo squat than a regular squat. So bend the knees out wide and then take your forearms just to mid-thigh. And then push the elbows towards the knees and let gravity take over a little bit here. So we're opening up into the pelvic floor, giving a little relief there for those legs. They did a lot of work for us. Breathe deeply here. Just keep letting go. Listen to the intuition. Mind seated in the heart. What feels right. And then come off the forearms, but keep the knees bent, hands to mid-thigh. Dip your right shoulder down, and then your left. Just releasing the upper back and shoulders a little bit here. And go back and forth a couple times at your own pace. One more on each side. And then we'll come back to standing and heel toe the feet in and just find Samastiti. It'll feel really nice to have those legs closed after all that space. But feel the difference. Feel all the length that's there now. How much easier it is to stand up straight. Full inhale, full exhale, no rushing. Good, last breath here. We'll make our way to the floor with a vinyasa, so big toes are touching, space between the heels, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold, navel to spine. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose. Flat back, hands on the shin or floor, and then exhale, step or lightly hop back to plank position. Again, you can do it however you'd like, so knees lowered or lifted. Squeeze those elbows tight, tops of the feet ground if you're in cobra. Otherwise, knees are lifted for up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, last breath here. Now bring your feet together for a moment. Come onto the balls of the feet. Reach the right leg up in the air. Exhale the left heel down. Inhale the right leg as high as you can, and then bend the knee, draw the heel to the glute. Stack right hip over left, and really feel some space there. Take 2 more breaths. Even the pressure in the hands and shoulders. And straighten the leg again. Square the hips and then send your right knee to your right wrist, top of the foot down, preparing for a pigeon pose. So once you bring the knee and the top of the back foot down, hands in a finger stand on either side of the hips. And now tuck your back toes under again, lift the knee off the earth, and let those hips just kind of sink down into their spot. And then when you feel like you're nice and deep, place the knee, top of the foot back down. And if this right hip's off the floor, bring a padding underneath it. Place a blanket there, your rolled up shirt, or anything that you have. Inhale with the fingers in a finger stand. Lift the sternum, because ultimately pigeon is a back bend. And then exhale, we're going to take it into the forward bend variation. Bring the elbows down to start. Take a moment just to let everything settle. So again, we're honoring the body, and that doesn't always mean for many of us that we can go right to the deepest pose. We might need to start at the first of sensation. And then as the body gives us permission, we can go deeper. Maybe try taking a block under your forehead. Maybe just letting the whole upper body come down into the mat. Now return to that breathing pattern that we had a moment ago. So belly, ribs, chest, exhaling belly, ribs, chest. Mind seated in the heart. And And remember, the inhale intensifies the sensation, the exhale helps to release it. Let go. Last breath here. And you can take hands under the shoulders and come back up into that extended spine. If you have a strap, you can use the strap, or if you're flexible enough, you can just grab onto the back foot. But the strap's really nice. If we have something nearby that you can use, that's really an ideal prop here. And you're going to keep the chest and hips squared forward and move into Rajakapotasana, King Pigeon. So this is the ultimate expression of this posture. And it's a back bend. So we're going to wrap the strap around the top of the foot, hold onto it with both hands, squeeze the elbows in towards your head so that your upper body is moving into a deeper and deeper back bend. And then keep settling the hips into the mat. However, find an inner body lift in the pelvic floor. So you're lifting the pelvic floor, moving that energy up through the sternum, through the front body as it opens. 2 more breaths. Try to find that inhale, exhale, mind seated in the heart, no strain, no stress. And then gently release the strap or bind if you had it. Tuck your back toes under and swing that right leg all the way back up into the air. And then bring the foot down and find downward facing dog. And just take a moment letting that settle. It's always nice to come back to symmetry after an intense asymmetrical pose like that. Good. Feet together. Come on to the balls of the feet. And this time you're reaching your left leg up in the air. Exhale the right heel down. Inhale the left leg as high as you can. Stack hip, left over right. Bend the knee if you'd like. Draw the heel towards the glute. Keep that tailbone going under. Keep the lower belly lifting so we're supporting the lower back. And then those hands and shoulders need to stay even in their pressure. Keep drawing that right heel down. Breathe here. Good. Now straighten that leg, square the hip. And again, you're going to send the left knee to the left wrist, top of the foot down. In the back leg, tuck the toes, lift the knee off the floor, settle the hips into their spot, and then top of the foot and knee come down. And if the left hip is off the floor, it's worth taking the time to prop that up with a little blanket so that it just feels stable and secure. Fingers in a finger stand. Inhale, lift the heart. Feel that opening in the front body. And then walk it out. Slowly bringing those forearms down first, just honoring where you're at. Remember, we want that left hip stretching just as much as the right hip is settling. Top of the right thigh is pressing down. Just finding that first edge, and then maybe the block under the forehead as you settle in a little more. Or maybe the whole upper body down into the mat when you're ready. Just release, let go, soften the heart. Last 2, keep letting go. Remember, the exhale releases the tension. And now hands are going to slowly come back. We're going to move into that Raja Kapotasana again, the king pigeon. So take your strap, wrap it around the top of the foot, or if you've got the flexibility, hold the foot with a hand. But we're rotating the chest forward, so that's why the strap comes in handy. You have to have a lot of flexibility to just hold that foot. And then elbows are going to hug in, and then you're lifting that sternum. So you're creating the back bend in the upper back. Hips are settled in, but pelvic floor is lifted. Breathe deeply here. Gaze is up. Find your breath. Inhale, we'll keep opening up that front body. Exhale, settling the shoulder blades down the back body. Remember, mind stays settled in the heart. Otherwise, we get too much in our head, too much into the drama of the intensity of the pose. One more. And then we'll gently release that leg, release the strap, hands under the shoulders, and just swing that left leg up in the air. Just let the blood drain out for a moment, and then bring it back down for downward facing dog. And enjoy symmetry here in the body. Notice all the space in the back of the legs and in the spine. So different than that very first down dog. And then knees to floor, sit tall on your heels, and just take a moment to rest the hands into the lap, Vajrasana. Shoulders are completely relaxed, chin is in slightly, back of the neck long. So a gentle Jalandhara Bandha. And 2 more breaths. Again, making sure mind is seated in the heart, feeling with every single cell in the body. The receptivity to the prana and the oxygen coming in through the breath. And just the wisdom that's an intelligence that's already within there to know how and when to release what isn't serving. Thank goodness we have this intelligence. Because our minds don't always make the best choices, right? So this intelligence governs the functions of our organs. And eventually that we can catch up with our intellect and with our minds. We'll bring our hips to one side. Take the legs straight out in front of you into Dandasana, staff pose. And if you want, you can internally rotate the inner thighs by pulling the flesh out of the way. And we'll start with Dandasana, feet are flexed. All the muscles of the legs are engaged here. And then palms are just beside the hips. You're pressing down into the hands, so you're depressing the shoulders. Chin in, back of the neck is long. You can close the eyes, or traditionally gaze here is at the tip of the nose. And even though it looks like you're not doing anything, there's so much action going on here, specifically in the core, to maintain that extension. Find your steady breath. Good. And then a couple options here. We're going to come into a twist. So right foot crosses over left knee. You can just stay in this posture here, wrapping the left arm around the leg, right hand behind you and rotating for the twist. Or you can bend the left knee, draw that heel toward the hip. Front heel is lined up with the top of the knee. Hold the shin bone and sit as tall as you can. And if you're in this deeper variation, inhale the left arm up to create a little more length, and then exhale, wrap the arm around the leg and rotate the navel to the right. For those of you with a little more flexibility, you can take the elbow to the outside of the thigh and then rotate from there. And I love this posture for really teaching that inner listening, because you can really find much more depth by letting go and listening to the intuition. So on the inhale, grow taller. And then on the exhale, pull the navel in and twist deeper. So you can feel this is the willpower, the muscular action. Do that again. Inhale, grow taller. You might unwind a little bit. And then exhale, pull the navel in, consciously contract and rotate. And one more with that muscular willpower. Inhale. And exhale. Rotate, squeeze, wring out. Now let go of your conscious strength and will, and now really listen to the breath. Feel on the inhale where it wants to take the spine. And feel on the exhale, is it time to release and twist deeper, or does the body just want to stay there and adjust for a moment? So let the breath really guide you now deeper into the posture. You just follow its clues. Just that feeling inside you that says, ah, yes, go here. You might find that you pulsate with breath a little bit more. Two more. Really listen. And then gently look over that left shoulder. Unwind. Take your time. It was deep. Hold the shin bones. Sit as tall as you can. And then we'll switch sides. Come back through Dandasana first as a reset. Just feeling this symmetrical pose. And then option, of course, to take just the left foot to the outside of the knee. Hips are anchored. Right arm rotates around the knee. Left hand behind you and come into the twist. Or bend the right knee. Take that towards your hip. Both hips are settled here. Front heel is lined up with the knee. Hold the shin bone, sit tall. Inhale the right arm up to get just a little more length. And then rotate that arm around the knee and twist here. If you've got the flexibility, you can always do this by binding the elbow to the outside of the knee. And then inhale, we're gonna grow taller. Exhale, squeeze and wring out. So 3 rounds of doing it with our will and strength. Inhale. Still mindful. Exhale. Don't let the will overpower to a point of harm. Inhale. Exhale. And now close the eyes. Listen and feel for breath. And hear the messages. Very subtle. What does the inhale ask the body to do? What does the exhale ask the body to do? And then follow that inner guide. One more breath. Good, and then look over that right shoulder. So you're twisting the neck in the other direction, then gently unwind. Hold the shin, pull the spine up into this tallest expression, letting the fascia unwind. And then extend both legs back into Dandasana. Gaze at the tip of the nose. Feel the mind settled in the heart. Okay, one more posture before we go down. Crossing right knee over left. Hands on the inner foot, lift the hips off the earth. Wiggle back and forth a little bit, and then sit back down. Again, a strap here is very helpful, but you can always do this without the strap, especially if you have the flexibility. Since the right leg's over, take the right arm under and wiggle it between your shoulder blades. Hold the strap in the left hand and then drop it down behind you. And then grab onto the strap, both with the left arm and the right. And now lift your left elbow up, cow's face. And then it's nice here as we're preparing for the closing poses, just to close the eyes, but you're certainly welcome to keep them open. And then we're gonna very slowly rock, very subtly from side to side, so it's barely any movement at all. And as we rock from side to side, can you just feel where the spine is in the body? And once you get a sense of that midline, you can let the rocking go and just hold the spine in the mind's eye. One more breath here. And then just release the strap, cross the right arm over the chest, hook the left arm under at the elbow, and then reach the tip of the right shoulder down and away. Just kind of stretching that out in the other direction. And then we'll switch. So cross the left knee over the right knee, hands on the inner foot, lift the hips, wiggle into that space a little bit back and forth, and then lower the hips down. So left leg is over this time. We're gonna wiggle that left arm in between our shoulder blades. And then right hand can just drop the strap down. And you're gonna lift that right elbow up as high as you can. And then close the eyes. Settle in. Can you settle into both hips as best as possible? And then rock a little bit from side to side, just barely at all. Just kind of feeling where's the midline of the body. Letting the intuition take over. And when you find that center line, just stay there and breathe. Breathe right into the spine. Charging the spine with all that prana, all that energy that we've cultivated in the practice today. Last two. And then just gently release. This time you're going to cross your left arm over the chest, right arm under at the elbow, and push the shoulder down and away. And then gently release. And if you need to do a shoulder roll, go ahead. We're going to come down onto our backs, but have a block handy nearby. So hold your shin bones, concave the spine, and just curl down into the mat. Knees come to chest. And then bring the feet flat, knees bent. And you're going to keep the arms down by your side, palms face down just for a moment. Slowly roll up into a supported bridge. You know, the arms down on the ground for support. And then exhale, navel to spine, roll back down. And you don't even have to go really high here, just a little bit to engage those muscles of the back body. Inhale, roll up. And exhale, come down. As you push equally into both feet, have the knees drawing in towards the midline so they don't splay apart. Just 2 more like this. Nice and slow, nice and relaxed. On this final one, when you rise up, we're going to come as high as we can now onto the balls of the feet and then slide the block underneath the sacrum. So ideally it's on the tallest edge. If that's not possible, middle or flat edge is fine, or no block underneath you is also fine, especially if you're on your cycle. And then extend your legs straight up in the air. Arms down by your side, palms face up. If the block's in position, the legs feel light and effortless. And then we're just going to let gravity do the work here. So just let it drain anything that's heavy or dense, settled in the feet and lower legs and lower portion of the spine. All that's going to drip up towards the fire in the abdomen. And there it's consumed and transformed into light. You can visualize that process if the mind is seated in the heart. So it's more of a feeling thing than a thinking thing. Might notice the exhalation a little stronger as those flames consume all the mala, all the impurities. Now keep your left leg straight, take your right leg down towards the floor, and just bring in a little splits here. Hips stay square. Left leg can float a little more over the head. But again, gravity's doing the work. Let gravity do the work. And then come back up. And then switch. Right leg stays straight, left leg goes down, maybe right leg goes a little further over the head. And then just letting gravity take over. And coming back to center. Find center for a moment, make sure you feel stable. And then legs out wide. And just again, letting gravity do as much of the work as possible. I did a lot of work with the legs today, so releasing those inner thighs. And 2 more breaths here. Again, grow heavy. Keep allowing. And then slowly squeeze the inner thighs back to the midline, finding that neutral position again for a moment. And then we'll take one leg down and then the other, finding that bridge again. If you would like, shift your block a little bit so you feel like you can hold a supported bridge. Arms can just be down with the palms facing up this time. And feel all that space we've created for the heart as the mind is truly settled there now. And even the Jalandhara Bandha deepens here at the compression of the throat, really sealing the mind and the heart. And then rise onto the balls of the feet. Slide that block out, and one vertebrae at a time. Just roll the spine down into the mat. Take your time. Each vertebrae gets a nice massage as the bones come down. And finally settle the glutes and feet a little wider than hip distance. Let the knees fall in. Just rest. You can rest your hands on your abdomen, or it's always nice to do like one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. And then we'll prepare for Shavasana from here. So if you're in a cooler room, maybe take the time to place some socks or sweaters on. If you have an eye pillow and you're in a lighted room, use that to block out the light so the mind can settle more deeply. And if there's any kind of sensitivity in the lower back, of course, you can do a little Apanasana, knees to chest, back and forth, where you extend on the inhale, arms to arm's distance, and exhale back to the chest. Or you also could use a bolster or rolled up mat underneath your knees for a little bit more lower back support. But as you settle in here, feet are a little wider than hip distance apart. Arms are down by your sides, palms face up, and tuck the shoulder blades underneath you. We did all this work here to really connect to the heart space today. So make sure that we're not rounding the shoulders. And then settle the belly button back towards the spine. So really let go through the gut. And let the lips part slightly. Let the jaw relax. Allow the eyes to settle towards the back of the head. Tomorrow, honoring the mother, the ma, the makar. The first sound a child typically makes is the ma sound. It's the easiest sound to make in the human language. So ma, 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 ma. Just being held by the mother as you completely let go. So very slowly begin to deepen your breath. As your breath comes back in, gently run your thumb across your fingertips and wiggle your toes. And roll your wrists and your ankles. And without rushing, gently draw your knees into your chest. And curl your right side into fetal for a moment, arm under the head as a pillow. Just let the spine settle. And then push your hand into the earth and slowly come back up into seated. Head and neck heavy, eyes closed as you come up. And then prop your sit bones up for a moment of meditation here. Again, flesh can move from the sit bones. Sit tall. Hands rest comfortably on the lap or on the knees, palms either facing up or down. And take a moment to once again return to that intuitive breath, the belly, ribs, chest, and exhale belly, ribs, and chest. And finding that even, steady flow. Mind settled in the heart. And specifically here, just to the left of the heart, enter into the cave of the heart. You can follow that narrow passage into the heart space that eventually opens up into the vast cave of the heart. And here in the cave of the heart, you can see a beautiful, stable, steady lake. And move towards it, either kneeling or sitting near the shore. Notice in the center of the lake, a beautiful blue flame. Hold your gaze steady on that flame in the center of the cave of the heart. Offering gratitude and appreciation for this light of wisdom and knowledge, the flame that represents all teachings, all wisdom. And as you hold your gaze steady on this blue flame in the center of the still lake in the cave of the heart, Feel for a moment the deep, deep gratitude of all the life-giving energy, life-sustaining intelligence, everything that allows you to be here now, everything that has led you to this moment. In that gratitude and in that reverence, just offering up a prayer. First, a prayer to really listen. Listen to the messages and the support that this flame inside of us, this knowledge, this wisdom is always offering. And then anything else that you want to offer into that through prayer, just take that moment now. And then finish the prayers, the offerings, and see and feel yourself bow deeply to this light. And bring your hands back together in front of your heart in the shape of a flame, so thumb and fingers pressing in and knuckles bowing out. And slowly retreat back out of the cave of the heart and settle the mind in the heart space again as you bow your head. And then we'll just seal this practice with the chant of Om one time, followed by Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi, to be without disturbance. Deep inhale in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Ma, namaste.